There were many highlights for the most recent Game of the Year awards. Whether it be Christopher Judge's extremely long acceptance speech, God of War Ragnarok seemingly winning every award except Game of the Year,
Elden Ring!
or even this.
To my Reformed Orthodox Rabbi Bill Clinton. Thank you, everybody.
There was a lot to check out during this yearly event. Something I like to do every time I watch it is to take notes on what games stand out most to me, and luckily enough, one of those games happens to have a demo out on Steam. Scars Above got my attention with what I felt was a more action-packed Death Stranding mixed with Remnant from the Ashes. There were some people who were claiming it was basically a copy of Returnal, which I still haven't played, but it is on my ever-growing list of games I may eventually actually play. But thanks to the demo, I got a better understanding of what Scars Above is about, and whether or not you should be keeping your eye on it. Developed by Madhead Games, Scars Above is a sci-fi third-person action-adventure shooter set in a mysterious alien world. After crashing and being separated from your compatriots, you set out to regroup and try to solve the mystery of where you are and how you got there. The world is inhabited by aggressive lifeforms, and you encounter several data logs from an entity called the Custodian, who has been involved in genetic mutation. In order to survive this perilous world, you can craft an arsenal of weaponry and fuel it with the local plant life. You can also scan the various inhabitants to locate their weaknesses, and you can even use the environmental elements in order to deal massive damage. The actual gameplay of Scars Above is pretty basic. The closest style that I could come up with is Remnant from the Ashes, where you have a melee and ranged weapon which you can use to target weak spots on an alien in order to take it out quickly. I do enjoy the mixing of elements and how the environment can change the outcome, like ice freezing someone quicker when it rains, or electrocuting something while it's in the water. I don't really believe the gameplay itself is what the developers are trying to sell you on for the game, but instead, it seems to really be the story and the overall atmosphere that are the biggest takeaways from the demo.
I've been waiting so long, but the fear...
Richard.
Art is usually something I tend to focus on for games. And while I think the art is nice in this game, the sound is actually what impresses me the most about it. The screeches of the aliens popping out of the water always kept me on high alert. And the shots for your gun are just absolutely satisfying. The voiceover work is done well enough that it has the odd position of making the graphics seem lacking.
Damn. Mike. I hope you're alive.
That sounds a bit counterintuitive, but it's just a problem that comes up with the games that aren't able to replicate the visual voiceover work that games like God of War, Last of Us, and other AAA titles can do with a bigger budget. This isn't really an indictment of the graphics of the game, but instead a claim that the sound is pretty darn close to what you should expect from a AAA title. I was genuinely thrilled with this game. I think it showed a lot of potential, and even though there were more than a few technical glitches, I'm sure there's plenty of time to fix it all. The gameplay really isn't something to get super excited about, but it really isn't a detractor for it either. I do feel like it could have had a little bit more polish, but it isn't very far from finished, and I think that I can comfortably say that while it didn't earn the Procyon seal of approval, I do think that this title is something that you shouldn't sleep on when it releases in February. A big thanks goes out to my Patreon supporters. I've been getting a lot of good support from everyone recently, so thank you to anyone who leaves a like or is kind enough to sub to the channel. I will see you guys next week, but as it is, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and as always, be kind to one another.